if you give yourself permission to say, this is how I'm feeling today, I'm going to lean into it. I'm actually not going to resist it. And then let's see what shows up tomorrow. Often tomorrow you're like, okay, let's go. I'm fine. I'm better today. I can move, or to your point, there is no better, but we want to move in a different direction. It's when we create that resistance, when the shame, when the guilt, when we start beating ourselves up, that now you've taken that one day that threw you a lot of turbulence. And so much of that is just embracing these moments where we are not the perfect human. Doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. Do you feel like that will help us overcome it?
And a lot of people, myself included, have really profound trust wounds from early childhood or from life or from whatever. And, when I was in my eating disorder, I was always cycling up and down. I would restrict and I would go more the anorexic side. And then I lost my period for years and I was up and down, significantly. And my poor body was just and I didn't trust that I could feed myself in a way that was reasonable. And people don't believe me, but it's been about maybe 5-6 years that I've had this relationship with my cycle and with food. My body size hasn't changed. We can trust the wisdom of our bodies, but that is so offensive. There's no grid for it if you have a trust wound. So I tell people, you're not going to believe this. I'm like, maybe try it and see. If you try intuitive, whatever, intuitive eating or listening to your body's cycle demands or whatever. If it doesn't work, then go back to, your way clearly doesn't work. But like, if you're that distrustful of this, it's like building a relationship with another human, this relationship between our emotional selves and our physical selves. And it takes time and baby steps. And a lot of times what we're asking our bodies, you would never expect to drive your car to go cross country on a quarter tank of gas, but we do that to ourselves all the time. Am I setting appropriate expectations for my body? Am I working with it? And it's really hard to trust that works because culture, diet culture, pop culture, the wellness industry all tells us you can't trust yourself. Right. You have to weigh yourself every day and you have to count. And there's nothing wrong with that as a tool. Doing things like that is great as a tool while you're relearning. It takes practice and time and relationship building, but it's amazing how much more happiness and contentment and peace we have when we're not at war with the things that we walk around experiencing our humanness in.
Yeah, the freedom in it for sure. Where does motivation come into this? Because I heard a quote this summer that I was like, oh my God, there has never been a more true statement. And here was the quote: you don't need motivation, you need momentum. And once you get some momentum, then you just are naturally motivated. That was the way that I interpreted the statement, was like, and that's just another version of stuck. So where does motivation fit into this? Especially when we're like, okay, I get I'm supposed to be messy. I get that there's highs and lows, but I still want to fit in my skinny jeans. Okay, but I need the motivation to start to lose weight. How do I get there?
So I like what you just said because it implies I have to feel like it for it to do it. And that is so not true. Like there's plenty of things I do every day that I don't feel like doing. So if I only did what I felt like doing, I probably wouldn't get a lot of my life done. But so I agree with what you said. This idea that sometimes we're motivated and sometimes we're not is a total myth. We're always motivated. It's like your brain is either motivated to do what you want it to do, work out, whatever, or your brain is motivated to conserve energy, to protect your image, to preserve the homeostasis of your, when you get healthy and fit and you have a partner who's not, that is going to be incredibly disruptive. And I've heard often enough behind closed doors that people are actually worried, if I get healthy and fit, I'm going to end up wanting to leave my family, and I don't want to leave my family. Yeah. So it's not, why are you so unmotivated? And it's not, how do I get motivated? The right question is, what's motivating you now? If you don't want to get off your couch to take a walk, it's not because you're unmotivated. It's because your primary motivation is comfort. If you're luteal, that's appropriate. If you're ovulating, or if you're in a up phase of whatever cycle you find yourself on, then I would say, is comfort really serving your highest good? Is comfort as motivation? Is that working for you? So maybe we need to find a different motivation. But the human brain is never not motivated. It's either motivated to go this way or it's motivated to go that way. So if we can switch the way we think, it's like, you're motivated, you're plenty motivated. You're motivated by preserving your family because you think you'll leave it if you get happy. You're motivated by saving money because if you don't launch that business, you're not risking financial resources, which I get, but you're never, ever not motivated. You're always motivated.
So interesting. Okay. So do you think you can achieve a goal that you might have for yourself and stay comfortable?
Comfortable how?
Good question. Yeah, just emotionally, like just keeping yourself in a state of, well, let's use fasting as an example. This is what my community does, is that let's say you get up and you eat breakfast, and you have heard me talk about how great it is to push breakfast back a couple of hours. So you want to do that because you know that it's going to have this metabolic upside for you, but you get an hour into it and now you're physically uncomfortable and your body's yelling at you. And now you're in a dilemma. You're like, okay, well, but I want the goal of losing weight. I know that's possible for myself, but I am really uncomfortable right now. So do you have to push through that comfort or discomfort to get to the other side? I mean, that has been the old pattern of me to say, yes, that's what you do. But then there's this new version of thought that I have, which is, I don't know. I think we really make things a lot more difficult for ourselves than we need to make them.
I love that so much. And again, it's this myth of comfort. I was at the gym this morning and I didn't feel like it. It was cold and I was up late and I really didn't feel like it. And I'm at the gym doing the things and, I'm like, I am so uncomfortable right now. I would be so much more comfortable at home in bed. Okay. But how true is that? Because it's really uncomfortable feeling unfit. It's really uncomfortable feeling unwell. It's really uncomfortable feeling like when I walk up a flight of stairs, I'm out of breath. I smoked for 20 years. So it was really uncomfortable not doing it. And there's this myth that it's more comfortable over there. It's like, again, if you're willing to get honest with yourself, you have two versions of uncomfortable. Pick one,
Which one?
like not everyone has the choice. Some people genuinely don't have that option, but assuming you can, this is hard. This is hard. Fasting is hard. Not having your goals met is hard. Choose your hard. Which hard do you want to pick? Me being at the gym doing burpees at 7 a.m. was hard. But as soon as we whisper to ourselves, it's just so much easier. That's not true.